Leaked emails just connected Jeffrey Epstein to the attack on XRP, and the names involved, it's gonna shock you. Folks, we got massive news coming in right now. Just surfaced. We got Epstein, Gary Gensler, in a coordinated attack on XRP that started way before anyone even thought. And the timing of these communications, it lines up perfectly with the SEC lawsuit that nearly destroyed Ripple. We got a lot to run through. Look, most people think that the SEC's case against Ripple was about investor protection or regulatory clarity. That's the story they sold you. But what if I told you this was a targeted hit job orchestrated by people who saw XRP as a threat to control their own financial system? And this goes back as far as 2013. Here's what we're going to cover. First, the 2013 smoking gun email that shows your elite circles knew. They knew XRP was Google's pick to replace the banking system, while Bitcoin was dismissed as a toy. Second, the suspicious timing between Gary Gensler cozying up to Elizabeth Warren in the Hinman speech that gave ETH a free pass. Third, the Epstein's network's document aversion to Ripple and Stellar specifically. And fourth, the players involved, that's right, and what their little private island invitations tells us about who really controls the crypto regulations. Look, I've been following the Ripple case since day one. I've been here almost a decade. I've read hundreds of pages of court documents, and I tracked every single regulatory move in crypto for years. But these emails, whoo-hoo, they confirm what many of us expected, but we couldn't prove. Let me break down exactly what is happening, because the elite knew that XRP was the institutional play back in 2013, 13 years ago, all while you were being fed the Bitcoin narrative. We're going to start off this post. Back in 2013, we got leaked files from the MIT Epstein orbit that showed us high-level figures were already circulating research identifying, listen, Ripple as the Google-approved structural replacement for the global banking system. That might be a good title. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, which didn't even exist yet, XRP. But look, here's what these briefings, and let me get over to them so you can see them. Here's what these briefings showed us behind closed doors, right? Google Ventures had invested in OpenCoin. OpenCoin, as we know, later became Ripple. They were planning, talking about Google, to use the XRP ledger to disrupt global mobile payments, specifically targeting systems like M-Pesa over in Africa. One email to Epstein explicitly mentions Google looking to link their digital wallets to OpenCoin system to roll out payments in Africa. Now, folks, these weren't retail investors gambling on price action. These were the architects of the new financial rails already in the room, already planning. So while your public narrative painted Bitcoin as this revolutionary, decentralized currency and positioned it as either anarchic money or digital gold, the real players, they were front-running XRP as that institutional utility layer. The utility narrative everyone thinks Ripple came up with later, that wasn't marketing. That was the blueprint from the beginning. And the people who stood to lose the most from a decentralized payment rail that bypassed the traditional banking system, they were watching very closely. That's right. And then Gary Gensler, that little freaking weasel, his name appears exactly when the attacks on XRP began. Coincidence? I think not. I got the email to prove it. May 6th, 2018, Gary Gensler. Yeah, that Gary Gensler. His name starts popping up in communications, integrating himself with Elizabeth the Snake Warren and the crypto-hating, bank-loving Warren wing of the Democrats. This isn't speculation, folks. You see it on your screen. This is all documented. Now look at the timing here. Because weeks later, June 13th, 2018, Hinman delivers his infamous, not famous, infamous speech declaring Ethereum is not a security. Huh. The same speech that avoids giving XRP the same clarity. Conspiracy or not? You tell me. And right around this exact time frame, what happened? Well, the SEC, they investigated into Ripple sales of XRP. That began. The lawsuit, as we know, later got filed in December 2020. The groundwork was being laid in mid-2018, right when Gensler was positioning himself in the regulatory space. Listen to this clip from Hinman.
You and Jay Clayton, the head of the SEC, have been very adamant that you were not going to change the definition of securities laws to fit this new technology. One of the points you made in your speech was the concern about the fraud that was out there in this space. Are you seeing significant fraud?
We do certainly see cases where people are trying to repackage an investment opportunity as a coin or a token and saying that somehow because it's labeled that way, it's not an investment security. And in many cases, we have seen people doing that where the underlying enterprise is not a solid investment opportunity. It's been misrepresented. So we do see fraud, and we do see it being packaged up this way.
I was going to flip the middle finger, but I don't think it's age appropriate. Look, here's the kicker, because we got 2014 emails right here showing Austin Hill, who was deeply connected to the MIT Digital Currency Initiative and Bitcoin development, clearly expressing his opinions on both XRP and Stellar. And these went to who? Jeffrey Epstein. That's right. When Hill sent that email mentioning Ripple and Stellar, he CC'd a guy named Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn founder and major Democratic donor. The following year in 2015, Epstein records to Hoffman saying, "Hey, guess what, guys? Check this out. This is weird." He said, "Come to the island ranch. Let's play." Folks, these are random tech enthusiasts. These are the kingmakers. The pattern here is undeniable. The same networks that were tracking XRP's institutional potential in 2013 suddenly had key players expressing hostility to it by 2014 and 2018. The regulatory apparatus was weaponized against it, while Ethereum, which had significant connections to these same circles, got a free pass. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is a creepy ass email, folks. Come to the island ranch equals C2. Let's play. I don't even want to know. Okay, but let's get into Austin Hill, because Austin Hill's attacks, it reveals the real threat that XRP posed to the Bitcoin maximalist power structure. This guy isn't some random idiot on Twitter, right? He was deeply embedded in the early Bitcoin ecosystem and the MIT circles that shaped crypto's direction. You see the tweet on your screen, March 30th, 2022, 4 years ago. This dude reached out and publicly attacked Chris Larsen, Ripple's co-founder, as you know, accusing him, let me highlight it right there, of a $5 million of funds that he acquired from his Ripple scam to attack Bitcoin with lies about proof of work. You can't make this up, but I want you to look closer at what he admits in this thread. He said he debated Larsen, right here, top line. He debated Larsen about privacy issues back in 1998 at a Goldman Sachs event when Larsen was still at Elon. He debated Brad Garlinghouse about their approaches to crypto at the lobbying conference when Ripple hired him. These aren't enemies who never met, folks. These are people who've been in the same rooms at the same elite gatherings for decades. Hill's accusing Ripple of being a pump and dump, and he claims Larsen used Greenpeace to distract from the SEC litigation. But what he's really revealing is that XRP threatened the Bitcoin maximalist narrative and the power structures that had consolidated around Bitcoin's development. The MIT Digital Currency Initiative, which Hill was connected to, it received significant funding from controversial sources, including Jeffrey Epstein, Mr. Come to My Island and Play on the Ranch. When someone with those connections goes scorched on earth, on XRP specifically, you have to ask yourself, what are they protecting? The proof of work versus utility debate, this isn't just technical. It is about who controls the infrastructure of the future financial system. And XRP, with its bank partnerships and efficiencies, represented a path that didn't require the mining infrastructure or the gatekeepers that Bitcoin had built. Think about that. But we're not done, because this gets even crazier when we come back here. These Epstein emails are shocking, not because a criminal was interested in crypto, but because they revealed a selection process happening at the highest levels. The network around Epstein, MIT, Silicon Valley power brokers, were actively tracking which cryptocurrencies to support and which ones they should suppress. Bitcoin was positioned as the anarchic play money in the public, but privately, these circles were investing in its infrastructure and narrative. Meanwhile, the same 2014 emails showing a version of XRP and Stellar reveals a clear decision tree. Technologies that could actually replace bank payment rails. Those were your threats. Technologies that could be positioned as digital gold or captured through mining infrastructures were opportunities. The connections are everywhere. As we scroll through them, you'll see them all again on your screen. This is absolutely nuts. The timing between these private communications and your public regulatory actions is not a coincidence. When Gary Gensler, who taught blockchain at MIT and was connected to the same exact circles, when he becomes the SEC chair and refuses to provide clarity on XRP, why former colleagues at MIT benefited from Epstein funding crypto research, the picture becomes crystal clear. David Schwartz even says here he wouldn't be surprised at all if this is just the tip of an iceberg. Look, people keep asking, what are the odds that someone finds a Hinman connection in these files, given that Hinman's speech specifically benefited Ethereum while damaging XRP, and given the network overlaps we're seeing? The odds are pretty damn high. The web of connections between MIT, Silicon Valley venture capital, your democratic power brokers, and the regulatory agencies that decided crypto's fate is not a conspiracy theory anymore. It is all documented in their own emails, and we got all the proof. So let's recap this as you look over and you get a one-on-one call with me booked. We got emails that prove everything. 2013, your elite circles knew XRP was Google's institutional play to replace banking infrastructure. By 2014, key players in Bitcoin and MIT's crypto ecosystem were expressing hostility to XRP and Stellar specifically. In 2018, right when Gary Gensler positioned himself with the anti-crypto Democrats, well, Ethereum got regulatory clarity while the SEC's investigation into XRP began. And throughout all of this, guess what? The same names keep appearing in the same network, attending the same conferences, making the same decisions about which cryptocurrencies will live or die. This isn't about whether XRP is a good investment or whether Ripple's tech works. This is about understanding that the regulatory attacks weren't random. They were targeted. The narratives were organic, and there is a cat on the desk trying to get into this video. The winners weren't chosen by the market, folks. They were chosen in an email you were never supposed to see. The reality is so much worse than anyone actually expected. But here's the thing they didn't count on. The truth always has a way of surfacing. And now that these emails are public, the whole coordinated attack, it falls apart. So the question isn't whether XRP was targeted anymore. We know it was targeted. The question is, what happens now that everyone knows? You better tune into the next video. Hit that like button. Make sure you say what's up to Bambi. She's on the screen. I'll see all y'all